This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 245 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products and Global Dressage Forum North America.
This is Reese Koffler-Stanfield from Georgetown, Kentucky.
And this is Philip Parks from Fergus, Ontario, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show. Hello, Reese.
Hey, Philip, how are you?
I could be better, actually. I gotta tell the truth. I know that just before coming on the show and doing our recording, you and I have both been really complaining about the awful winter that's been happening to us.
I don't think you and I can... I can't be positive anymore. I'm done. Actually, I've got to confess that yesterday, very rarely have I ever actually thrown in the towel. But Philip, I happened to be the first person I talked to after, because it's just been a terrible week up here. I'm sure everyone else is having the same problem we are, but we got ice yesterday, and ice and horses and owning a farm just equals hell. I mean, it just does. There's nothing good about what was happening. And we had no heat. No electricity.
We had no power, yeah.
Yeah, no power. We had no power. It had been out since about 9 o'clock the night before, which is fine. I mean, it was warm enough that, Trav and I were warm and Annie, we were fine in the apartment. Everything was fine. I did do night check with a headlamp. The horses really enjoyed that. That was their favorite, was the headlamp. Oh, they every time I'd walk by the stall, I was snorting and kicking and it was windy and it was really a terrible storm. And it happened to be just sort of like right in my area I was the lucky duck. So we lost power, and it was because a limb was crossing the road and hit the power line. So, of course, then we had to deal with cutting the limb, and I couldn't get out my driveway or open the gate because there was no power. I mean, it just was like went on and on. And as we all know, when you own a farm, your help quits when it's cold and they don't want to come. And I mean, it was just one of those days. Anyways.
And then some snow fell on your head or something.
Not just snow. So our shavings pile, the top on our shavings pile, we've been kind of working on a design for it. And it clearly needs some more support. But there was a dip in it. And I was like, all right, I told my sweet, awesome working student, Alexis, assistant, I said, okay, come on, we need to push this up, which was the worst idea ever. I said, we better get this out or it's going to break the tarp. So we had one of our students come and we went to push it up. It's really funny now. But again, I have no heat, no power, nothing. And my student, and we're all three of us are in, I'm in the middle. Well, as we're pushing it up, the tarp caves in right where I am. So I get a shower of ice cold, wintry snow, ice water. I was drenched. It was my shower for the day. That
was right after that. I think you called me and had a bit of a freak out.
I absolutely had a meltdown. I had to call Philip anyways, and I think I was slightly hysterical, crying. Yeah, it was really. And then I said, and again, remember, I have no heat, so I can't run in and take a warm shower. I literally took off my clothes, put them in a heap, got in my truck, and drove to town to our local cafe. And the whole barn, we all went, and I just said, we're having lunch.
We're going.
We did. So I don't know. I'm sure you guys can absolutely Facebook us some other funny experiences funny now. It was obviously not at all funny.
At the time, no.
At the time.
No,
but
I knew it wasn't time to laugh at Reese. But no. I think everybody has been feeling. I mean, they got snow in Texas, Reese. Come on. God.
I don't even know what to say, Phil.
The whole continent is all messed up. It's just been awful.
Other than you and I next week get to go to Florida to Wellington, and we're covering the Global Dressage Forum North America, and I could not be more excited. Number one, I always love hanging out with you, Phil. We always have an awesome time, and we get to see a weekend of great horses and riders. So really, really looking forward to it. I feel like we can make it till Thursday. I'm leaving on Thursday, so we can make it.
Yeah, I hope we can.
Hopefully.
I hope we can. That sounds good.
I know. So, Phil, it's you and I this week. I think Glenn is enjoying the Florida sun and didn't want to come inside.
I think he said he's got
us.
family visiting and they're going to go to Disney or something. He's having a great time. I'm glad he's not. Yeah, he's not allowed on the show this week to commiserate with us because he's got nothing to commiserate about.
And all he'd say is move to Florida. So it's probably good that Glenn is enjoying the 75, 80-degree weather. And I hope he gets a bit of a sunburn, is all I have to say. So it's you and me this week.
Don't wish others ill. It'll be okay. We're gonna be fine.
I don't know, Phil. I had a meltdown yesterday. So, Phil, there's some great news coming in from Wellington, and also about the person I love the most is
Charlotte Dujardin.
Yes, and
Catherine Bateson Chandler.
I like her too. She's awesome. But Charlotte Desjardins was announced today, double Olympic and European Championship gold medal and #1 in the world with Fulegro. She's holding a symposium in the U.S. in Los Angeles, March 8th and 9th. So there's information that just came out on the web, and gosh, that would be fun. I would totally like to go to LA March 8th and 9th. I don't know if it will happen, but that sounds wonderful.
Sounds cool. Sounds fun.
It does.
This week in Wellington, the richest dressage competition in the Western Hemisphere, with total prize money of over $163,000, is to be staged at Adequan Global Dressage Festival, and drawing riders from 9 countries, including 4 Olympic combinations. So, big show going on this week. There's a 3-star and a 4-star. So we'll be looking for results from that and cheering on our own countries, and lots of Canadian riders down there, lots of Americans, and let's hope they don't get their butts kicked by the Europeans.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm really excited, and like I said, I'll be happy to go see those horses when we're down there for sure.
Well, actually, we got results from the 3-star. Catherine Bateson Chandler and Well Netta posted their first international victory today in winning the Adequan Global Dressage Festival CDI 3-star Grand Prix to become the first American rider to win a CDI Big Tour class in Florida this winter circuit. So congratulations. So it looks like a very promising combination, maybe for the World Championships.
For the WAG, for the WAG.
And it looks good. So. And
I love Catherine. She was here in Kentucky and came to my house several times during the World Equestrian Games in 2010. And she had another horse that she rode there. And she is absolutely the most wonderful person. Awesome heart, and she's one of those riders that I always cheer on, and so excited that she has a new horse.
We've had her on the show before, so if people want to check out that show, you can check show notes and stuff on the website. It's kind of cool to be able to go back through, and if you've missed a few episodes, it's a way to do it anyways. Exactly.
Well, Phil, we have some kind of very sad news, and this is an
awful story.
This is a terrible story, and I'm really sorry to bring it up, but Kristen Becker, she is a Brentina rider. I met her at Brentina Cup. Absolutely lovely young lady from Georgia. She lost 4 horses in a barn fire this week, and she is just a great person. She lost 4 horses, including Brentina horse Ramsey, and the fire department got there quickly, but the whole barn was a complete loss, and 18 horses died.
18 horses in total. This is an awful story, and
I just have chills.
It happens, and so I'm sure that.
Yes, and there is some information. We got our information off of Dressage Daily. There is a fund set up for her to help her rebuild, and it's just a tragic story. So, our condolences go to Kristen and all her horses, and I know she is a determined young lady, and she will be back. But if anybody is, during this time can help her, I know she would be greatly appreciative. She's a lovely, lovely person. So. Yeah. And Phil, I have to personal story side note. My uncle is a trainer, and he lost 8 horses in a barn fire.
This is awful. This is awful, when thankfully, and I'm going to knock on wood that, I haven't experienced something like this before. But there's a whole number of things that can happen. With weather related things and
absolutely. And I think
barn fires and it just, thankfully, our equestrian community is strong, and there's wonderful people out there that are willing to help out and who can help out when these situations happen. So.
And I think that this time of year is good because, we want to be inside anytime we can. To think about that in your barn, I think it's hard. Like, for example, we lost power and, we have a generator, but I don't think we've never pulled it out. We never know I don't even know if it works. So it made Travis and I say, oh, you know what? We really need to. Yeah. You don't think about it until you need it, and you don't think about
preparedness. And things like this,
And certainly
that's a good point, Reese.
Yeah, I'm not an expert by any means in any of it, but there are people there are resources. Again, if anybody has any questions, we will certainly try to find the answer. But it's a good time to just think about that this winter and think about how you can fire extinguishers, and we have outside exits in our barn, so we can get in theory get them out as quickly as we can. We don't keep a lot of hay in the barn for that reason, so. Things like that, but certainly share with us. But there are other resources online, lots of really good ones, better than Phil and I, to talk about it. So, yeah. Well, to change the subject a little bit,
and to move on a little bit,
move on to a great. This is my favorite event in Wellington. It is the Challenge of the Americas, and it's March 7th, and it's to benefit Breast Cancer Research Foundation. And this is we're trying to give everybody some events in Florida. If you can't make it next weekend to the Global Dressage Forum North America, really, this event is awesome.
It's all about fun. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a competition because a lot of the high performance riders are there, but they compete in quadrilles set up to music, choreography, and I think there's a little bit of costume as well.
Yeah.
And, I haven't been to the Challenge of the Americas, but I know that everybody talks about how much fun it is, and it benefits breast cancer research, which is a great cause, and it's a lot of fun. So that will be March 7th, right? That's a little later than it usually is. I think it's usually in February.
I think they changed it. There's so much that goes on in Florida in February, so they moved it, and it is so much fun. We usually just sit on the lawn, take a picnic, and watch. And you can buy tickets and do the fancy, but also there's a general admission ticket that you don't have to sign up in advance, and literally go with a picnic basket and sit on the polo field. It's awesome. So that's a fun event. If you're looking for one more event to get down to the sun and fun, that's a good weekend to go for sure.
Awesome. And then the last thing, I guess, in our news column here, one of the riders that we've had on the show, Cassie Bartow. Do you want to tell us a little bit about some news from her?
Sure. She was on the show. She is a great girl. She's worked really hard in her life, and she bought a horse for $1. She told the story on one of our other shows, and she bought this horse for $1, and she won the Horse of Course High Score Award at the Adequan Dressage Festival, 3-star CDI, 74.459. And it's
fourth level
awesome.
test 2. Yeah. Fourth level test 2. Yeah.
Fourth level test 2.
Congratulations. Yeah. I mean,
and it just shows, with hard work. And, sometimes you don't need that horse. She told us the story on how challenging he was, and that
difficult horse. Yeah. Yep. And that she was determined to get through some problems. And so we just want to congratulate her because she's obviously worked really hard with this horse, and that work is paying off. She's doing a great job, and, scoring really high there, 4th level. That's a great score.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Well, Phil, we have a great show today. We are going to get an update on the Global Dressage Forum North America from Andrea Stano. He is the director of the event, so looking forward to his update. And then we have a great trainer tip about productive lunging with Tammy Crawford from Tennessee. She came on another show that I was helping Glenn with, and she talked about this concept of productive lunging, and it's not something that we have talked about on our show very much. So I invited her on for our weekly trainer tips. So should be a great show. Looking forward to that. And right after this commercial break, we will talk with Andrea Stano.
The Global Dressage Forum North America, the ultimate educational experience where champions meet.
After this winter, who won't want to be in Wellington, Florida for the 2nd annual Global Dressage Forum North America, presented by DressageClinic.com. Mark your calendars and book your plane tickets for the event of the season, Saturday, February 15th and Sunday, February 16th at the Jim Brandon Center. Some of the world's most recognized dressage experts and educators, including Stefan Clark, international rider Jan Brink, Konrad Schumacher, Christoph Hess, and many, many more will be presenting on-stage demonstrations, lectures, interactive discussions, and panels consisting of some of the world's most internationally recognized trainers and judges. Did we mention the shopping in the warm Florida sun in February? The Global Dressage Forum North America 2014 is presenting the highest profile educational gathering ever to be held in North America, encouraging every dressage rider from across the U.S. and Canada to come and participate in this gathering representing dressage education in its finest form. Buy your tickets now as seating is limited. Be sure to use the coupon code USDF, the number 4, DFNA. That's USDF, the number 4, DFNA, all caps, for a big savings on your tickets. Visit the website today at globaldressageforumna.com or call them at 561-909-7621. That's 561-909-7621. Let them know you heard about it on the Dressage Radio Show.
Well, we have been talking about it all show, but Philip and I are so excited about the Global Dressage Forum North America. And Andreas Stano, the executive producer, is on with us today. How are you, Andreas?
Very good. How are you?
We are literally so excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think the weather is a big contributor to our excitement to get out of here. But it just sounds like a wonderful event, and so many great trainers are going to be there, and we're going to be visiting friends, and there's it's just such a great thing. So,
well, not to stick it to you, but it is nice and beautiful, warm down here in Florida, and it's 80 degrees and it's sunny every day. So I know I've been hearing about all the weather in the Northeast. So, yeah, Florida is the place to be.
The place to be.
Exactly. And the show, you will have a week. The show will go live tomorrow, which is Friday. So you'll have exactly a week to come get your tickets, and come
make
down.
Make your arrangements. Yeah.
Exactly. So, Andreas, let's start with the schedule. What's going to be happening next Friday, a week from when the show airs, so people can get down there still?
Well, the program actually has been extended slightly from previously. There's been some additions to even add a little bit more excitement to it. Well, let me start with before the program or the actual forum begins, which is the Saturday, Sunday. What's happening is that we're offering what we call the GDFNA Masterclass program. And we created this program to be able to give riders the opportunity to ride on a one-to-one private basis with any one of the clinicians that are appearing on the program. So on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, immediately before the Saturday that the forum begins, we have at the Jim Brandon Center, in all the outside dressage rings, there's about 5 of them, we will be having simultaneously clinics from the educators of the forum. So on February 12th, to the 14th, we have Christoph Hess, who will be giving, with Eckhart Mainers, he will be giving lessons on a one-to-one basis. And from the riders that are riding in that clinic, Christoph Hess is going to choose which of the riders in the clinic will be chosen to become demonstration riders for the forum, for his presentation. So this, this is not only an opportunity for these riders to ride with the clinician, but it also gives them an opportunity to make an appearance as demonstration riders in the forum. So that's February 12th to the 14th, and February 13th to the 14th, Tina Wilhelmsen will be giving private lessons to a variety of riders. At the same time, Christelet Boland, 6-time Olympic team rider for Canada, with Udo Lange, they'll be giving their clinics in their ring. Arthur Kottas will be giving his lessons in his ring. Konrad Schumacher will be giving his lessons in his ring. And Stephen Clark will be giving Thursday, Friday, all day, private one-to-one lessons with a variety of riders. And from those riders that will be riding in the clinic with Stephen Clark, one or two or three of those riders will be chosen as demonstration riders to be in the Stephen Clark presentation. So the GDFNA Masterclass program is basically a continuing education program to the forum that we have organized. And all ticket holders are invited to come and audit these lessons, and they can choose which ring they would like to sort of watch or look at, and or which clinician they can follow. So it's sort of a 3 days of nonstop clinics at the Jim Brandon in the outside dressage rings. In the meantime, as all this is going on, we will be building the production for the forum itself. And there's several production companies coming in there to set up. It's a very big production. And so that's about the masterclass program. And for the program itself of the forum, just to give a final review of what's going on, we start Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning. And George Williams, USDF president, will be giving his State of Dressage in the U.S. speech to bring up to date all dressage riders in the U.S. as to what is happening. From Canada, Desi Dillingham will be giving a State of Dressage in Canada speech to inform about, what's going on in Canada. We have all our friends in Canada that are so important and significant to, the entire North American scene.
That's right.
Philip.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we had
He's gonna wave a
Desi on the show
flag.
not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, and we had Desi on, and she's great, and we're really looking forward to hearing from her as well. She's a super inspirational kind of speaker, and that should be fun. Yeah.
And there's so many Canadian dressage riders down here in Florida, so it's Canada is very much part of the festivities. And then we also have Judith Noon, who is from the Dressage Foundation, and she will give us a short speech about the Dressage Foundation's goals and objectives for the year to come. And those are just a few short speeches to get things going, and then we go straight into Jan Brink, and he will be giving a presentation on clarity for successful dressage training, where he will be riding a young horse that he's never seen before, never ridden before, and this is part of our educational type of progressive understanding about riding horses for the very first time. We all have to ride a horse for the very first time. So there's a little bit of a technique to it. There's a little bit of a procedure to it. So Jan Brink will be taking us through that. And then we continue with Sue Leffler, who's an authority on centered riding, with a lecture. And after the lecture of Sue Leffler at 12:45, we have Yvonne Barteau with KYB Dressage, who will be giving an exhibition freestyle, The Lion King. So she will be doing The Lion
That
King.
sounds like a bit of
That's an
fun in
update.
there,
Yeah, she does a beautiful job. Oh, lovely. That'll be fun.
Exactly. And so she's presenting The Lion King, and as soon as we finish with that, we go into a lunch break. We have over 20 vendors for shopping, and we have lunch boxes for all the general seating ticket holders. We have lunch for the VIPs, etc. It's a wonderful time for everyone to sort of meet their friends, catch up with everyone. And as soon as we finish with lunch, we go with Crystal Boland and Udo Lang, and they'll be doing a presentation on understanding the refinement of the dressage horse. And the panel members for that session are Charlotte Bredal, Betsy Steiner, Leslie Reed, Pam Goodrich, and Mette Rosenkrantz. And following after that, Johann Schlese will give us a lecture, which is identified as Is Your Horse Suffering in Pain? And this is a lecture on the understanding and fundamentals of the horse's back, saddle structure, etc. And immediately after the lecture of Johann Schlese, we have Christoph Hess with Eckhard Meiners, who will be doing a presentation on position, seat, etc. The panel for that will be Anne Gribbins, Walker Brahman, Kathy Connolly, George Williams, Arthur Cottes.
Wow.
And then we go into the next day, Sunday morning. We begin with Terry Gallo, who will be doing a lecture on understanding the freestyle. And during the lecture, Betsy Steiner will be riding a freestyle. And after Betsy finishes riding the freestyle, she'll come on stage and there'll be a debate with Terry Gallo on what just happened in the arena. Betsy will be discussing about what she was feeling, what was going on. Terry is the one who actually designed the freestyle. So that should be very interesting about freestyles. As soon as that lecture is over, we continue on with Tina Wilhelmsen and Bo Jenna, and they're doing a presentation discovering the horse. Bo Jenna, who's the chef de keep of the Swedish team, and Tina Wilhelmsen is a superstar for Sweden. She's been basically cleaning up with everything. And the panel for that is Anne Gribbins, Charlotte Bredal, Kathy Connolly, George Williams, and Leslie Reed. And after we finish with Tina Wilhelmsen and Bo Jenna, we'll go into a lunch. And then after lunch, we continue with a lecture presentation by Suzanne van Dietz. Suzanne van Dietz is a very, very respected equine expert for dressage. She has written over 6 books with Trafalgar Square Press. And she's going to be doing a lecture on discussing balance in movement, the importance of rhythm within the circle of aids. That should be very interesting. All of Suzanne van Dietz's lectures are really fascinating. And parentheses is that we have an overhead LED screen, which is 10 feet high and 17 feet wide. Wow. This is a gigantic,
big screen.
Very big screen, so that
Super.
Everyone from anywhere in the stadium is going to be able to see detail as things are happening in the arena. So after we finish with Suzanne van Dietz, we bring on stage Conrad Schumacher, and Conrad Schumacher will be doing Understanding the Importance of Classical Riding. We'll have a face-to-face discussion with Conrad Schumacher about his theories, philosophies on the methods in developing dressage horses and riders. There'll be arena demonstrations with chosen demonstration riders. And the panel members for this session with Conrad Schumacher will be Volker Broman, Betsy Steiner, Arthur Kottes, Pam Goodrich, and Mette Rosenkrantz. Following the Schumacher's presentation, we are happy to say that one of the attendees of the forum will be walking away with a brand new saddle.
Wow. Fingers crossed, Philip.
This is a beautiful brand new saddle valued over $4,000, and we have a draw. So all the attendees of our audience, whether they're general seating or VIPs, will have a chance to win this saddle. Sharon Bornay will come on stage and present the saddle to the lucky winner. Following this, we go into a very short break, and then we begin with the Stephen Clark presentation, which is so anticipated by everyone. Stephen Clark will be presenting a lecture, The Foundations of Dressage, getting to know Stephen Clark with an interview. And then there'll be arena demonstrations with riders that have been chosen to be demonstration riders for Stephen Clark. And then we go into a debate, interactive discussion on stage with the panel members being Anne Gribbins, Leslie Reed, Kathy Connolly, George Williams, and Arthur Kottes. After we finish with Stephen Clark, we go into a new portion of our program, which is the Aspiring Paradressage Rider Scholarship Award. And this is in cooperation with PATH International, the therapeutic association who helps handicapped riders all over the nation. So the recipient of the Paradressage Aspiring Scholarship Award will go to Kelby Barenko, who is also the USDF 2014 Volunteer of the Year winner. And Kelby is a very dedicated volunteer. He has dreams. He has hopes. He is a dedicated dressage rider. Of course, he needs a better horse. He needs a lot of training, guidance, and as a financial award to him. And for this scholarship award, what we are doing is we are taking $10 off the general seating tickets that are sold after January 1st, and we are giving this money to Kelby Barranco as a financial assistance to continue his lessons, continue his training, and continue the inspiration that he has for himself. So after we finish with the Aspiring Para Dressage Rider Scholarship Award, then we finish the Sunday program with the presentation of the GDFNA 2014 Lifetime Dressage Achievement Award that will this year be given to Stephen Clark, who is also FEI Dressage Judge General. This award will be presented to Stephen Clark by USDF President Mr. George Williams and also Judith Noon from the Dressage Foundation. So that wraps it up.
Wow.
But you know what? Yeah.
I am so I literally I'm listening to all this. I'm like, I can't wait to have my notebook ready and just get some, we definitely up here in the north need some just I need some more things to say and some inspiration, and I know I'm going to get it next weekend. So I am really looking forward to it.
Jam-packed full
Yeah.
Okay,
so
well,
much.
you know what? As yourselves, you're coming down here to get some in-depth dressage education, but you know what? It's also tremendous fun. So you better, put your party shoes on because we have the opening reception party for the forum, which is Friday, February the 14th.
Okay.
That's Friday evening at 7:30 at the Hilton Palm Beach Airport Hotel. And this is open to all the VIP ticket holders to meet the clinicians, the panelists, the lecturers into an evening party under the stars by the pool patio.
Oh,
And
nice.
Yeah, now we're talking.
that's Friday evening, and no, we have not forgotten about our general seating ticket holders, because after the program finishes on Sunday, February 16th, all ticket holders are invited to come to an after party at the International Polo Club.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now we're talking, Andreas. This is what I'm talking about.
The International Polo Club is very kind to host and sponsor an after party for everyone to attend Sunday evening at the International Polo Club in Wellington, Florida. So,
wow,
that's what's lined up.
That's fantastic.
It's an intense program, but that's what it's all about. It's education presented in its highest form. I'm sure there'll still be improvements for us to catch up on for next year, but for this year, we're doing our best to present an experience to everyone that will be memorable. And
Andreas, how do our listeners get tickets? What's the step now? If you say, okay, I'm coming, how do we get tickets up to the event?
Quite easy, actually. All everyone has to do is just go to the Global Dressage Forum website, which is www.globaldressageforumna.com. GlobalDressageForumNA.com. And from there, they can get all kinds of information, or they can just quickly click on the Buy Tickets link on top, and they can buy their tickets online. I do have to say that the VIP ticket section had been sold out as of last week, but we got together with our designers and we have rearranged things to make a little bit more room, because we were getting so many people who wanted VIP tickets but did not have the opportunity. So we opened up a little bit more space for one more table and 8 more seats. Super. So those are available now, or they had been available. As of this recording, they are available. So if, tickets for VIPs are available, general seating tickets are available, and discount coupon codes are floating around. There's the USDF discount code, which offers a 15% discount. And the coupon code for that is capital letters USDF, the number 4, and then capital letters GDFNA. So it's USDF for the number 4, GDFNA. And this will allow a 15% discount to all the ticket buyers, but members of DressageClinic.com, and DressageClinic.com is a major sponsor for this forum. Their members, if you're a member to DressageClinic.com, you will be entitled to a 20% discount, and the coupon code for that is capital DC, the number 4, GDFNA. So, tickets are at the forum, but for those of people who are just don't have the time to get on the internet, don't have, want to do it quickly, they can just call our ticket hotline, which is area code 561-909-7621. That's 561-909-7621, and they can just buy their tickets on their phone. And that makes it quick and easy for everyone. So that's it for the tickets.
Great. Well, Andreas, we are so looking forward to the event next week, and hopefully our listeners, Andreas, if our listeners have any other questions, how can they get a hold of you?
Again, it's our customer care center. It's 561-909-7621. They can call there. And if people want to specifically speak to me personally, all they have to do is ask for my name and the line will be transferred to my office. I'm open to receive calls from anyone and everyone who would like to ask questions, make a complaint perhaps. We're not doing something correct. We want to hear about that because we're not perfect, but perfection is what we are seeking. So if something is not 100% right, let us know about it. Give me a call. I'm happy to hear suggestions, comments. And I'm available for that.
Great. Well, thanks, Andreas. We can't wait, and we'll see you on Friday.
This Nutrition Minute is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, the company that simplifies your search for research-proven nutritional supplements at kppusa.com.
Did you know that easy keepers and horses on restricted diets are often at risk for vitamin and mineral deficiencies? Most easy keepers are maintained on hay, and some get a few handfuls of grain a day, and most of these horses get little to no green grass. Diets that don't include significant levels of green grass or recommended amounts of fortified concentrates just don't supply enough vitamins and minerals. Many horse folks don't realize that hay alone, even high-quality green hay, is not an adequate source of many vitamins. For example, when grass is cut and dried for hay, the vitamins quickly lose their potency. 70% of the vitamin E found in grass is lost in the first week after it is cut for hay. One way to ensure that your special needs horse is getting all the vitamins and minerals he needs is to add a vitamin and mineral supplement to his diet. A well-balanced supplement will provide the nutrients your horse requires without adding unwanted calories, starches, and sugars. Microphase, made by Kentucky Performance Products, is a vitamin and trace mineral supplement that bridges the gap in your feeding program. With Microphase, your horse receives adequate and balanced vitamin and mineral nutrition without unwanted calories or other ingredients. The minerals in Microphase have been chelated, a process that protects minerals during digestion and increases their absorption in the intestine. Microphase provides vitamins, such as vitamin E, in a natural form, so your horse receives optimal results from this supplement.
This Nutritional Minute has been brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. You can find all of their terrific products at kppusa.com.
Well, it is my pleasure this evening to welcome Tammy Crawford from Tennessee. Tammy was on a show that I was helping Glenn produce last week, and she brought up a great topic of productive lunging. And Tammy, I'm so glad to have you on our show, the Dressage Show.
Well, thank you. I'm really flattered to be here.
Well, we've been friends a long time, and it was so fun to talk to you last week on Stable Scoop. And you brought up this topic of productive lunging, and we have not, I don't think Phil and I have talked about really any lunging techniques, how to do it, some just reasons why. So when you brought it up, I love the topic, and get us started on your productive lunging trainer tip of the week.
Well, it's a basic thing you do with horses when you first break them and you're getting them ready to get under saddle, but it's really helpful interspersed throughout their especially in the beginning, early years of their career, that you can always go back to it and remind them and just make the road a little smoother and a little easier to throughness and, being supple and soft in the jaw and over the back.
It is so true. And I don't know, Tammy, you're lucky right now to be in Florida, but we're here in Kentucky and I have been lunging a lot. Not that I necessarily want to all the time, but when there is snow sliding off the roof, sometimes you just say, today is just going to be a lunge day. So talk to us about just some things
Dr.
you
Lunge.
do. Yeah. Talk to us about some things that you find productive when it comes to lunging.
Well, there's different levels of it. But if I have a horse that's wanting to be braced against the bridle and you've done everything you can do in the saddle and it just feels like you're getting into a wrestling match, I like to put them inside range, and I don't start off real tight, but I'll put the outside side rein on, and then I'll take the lunge line and I'll run it through their bit and snap it to the girth. And that will help you really get that bend and get the horse to give through the inside jaw. It's not, you don't have as good control with that, but you can definitely get more to the basic problem of getting the horse to give over his top line.
Do you have any other problems that you look at and try and correct on the lunge?
Yes, and then you can also work on on the forwardness that they, are coming from back to front, and that they can listen to your, you work on your voice commands, and that's also helpful in the saddle that you can mimic what they've learned on the lunge. It makes it a little easier in the saddle. You can also do a lot of forward and back. It really improves the trot. You can work on leg yielding out from the lunge line and making them step under with that inside hind leg to help strengthen. I find that, they don't have the rider on their back, so they can find their own balance and get a little more in balance, not so much on the forehand.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, these are all things that horses need that really we can help when we do this, which is great.
Right.
So, Tammy, what are some faults when you see people lunging? What are some faults that you see?
I think the worst thing is they probably are trying to be nice, and they're not wanting to shorten the side reins too much, and they have it. It's no point. They're just shuffling along, wasting their horse's legs. And really, if you do some lunging that's to the point, you don't have to lunge very long. It's not like you have to put them out there and lunge them for 30 minutes. I mean, a good little session could be 10 minutes before, 10 to 15 minutes before you get on the horse, and it's not, they've hardly broken a sweat, and it gets the horse in the mood for the work.
Oh, it's so true. I don't know about you, Phil, but right now, it's so hard because we're very inconsistent as much as even with an indoor, there's days that we can't ride or that we ride. And sometimes I find just putting him on the lunge line, letting him sort of get that initial fire out of their belly. I found that it's much less frustrating for me and has been really good to get the horses out that way. More than I normally would do, but I also have never had this problem of, it's 10 degrees one day and then we can work one day and then we can off another day. So, I haven't had that. So it really does help a lot.
I think it's really good to add into the mix. I mean, I just wanted to add one, a point. I think I've, maybe said this before, but I see riders lunging horses on tight circles, and I think that's a big no and a big problem. But like Tammy said, I mean, you don't got to be on there for 40 minutes or so. I mean, you can do a great lunging session in 15 or 20 minutes, really work the horses. And, the other thing I like to see is that the horses are listening to their lunger. So, I mean, when a horse is going around me, I like to see the inside ear turned back towards me. So I know there's, the horse is paying attention, that they're working. I mean, it serves a purpose. It's not just, sending the horse out on a line and letting the horse decide, okay, now I trot, now I walk, now, do whatever I want for 20 minutes and then the rider gets on. It's like, no, they have to pay attention. You have to have a bit of a purpose with your lunging. If you're lunging and say, okay, today it's for exercise, that's great. Another day it might be for, being a little sharper on the aids. You can work like Tammy said, some transitions. Like, okay, we're going to go walk, trot, and really sharp with that transition. Not letting the horse just, okay, now trot. Oh, now I'm going to chase you with the whip a little bit. You're still not trotting. Oh, like I like to say, hey, this has a purpose. You have to listen, and it's training. Whether you're in the saddle or on the ground, you're training the horses, and I think that's an important thing to remember when you're lunging. It's not just to, you're going to get out a little extra energy on the lunge line. Then when you're tired, I'm going to get on you, I like to lunge, with a young horse, I like to lunge for 10 minutes and ride for 20, not lunge for 30 and ride for 5. That doesn't make any sense. You're not trying to get all of the energy out. You might just be, working to get a little bit of the kicks out a little bit, especially in the winter, like you said, Reese, when when you can't turn a horse out, okay, but your lunging session can still serve a purpose. I think that's really important.
No, I love that. Yeah. Go ahead, Tammy.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say one thing. You said something that reminded me is that absolutely you don't want them to be on those little circles where they're torquing their joints. And one thing that I do that is probably not recommended as much, but I really enjoy doing this because I don't like to be so far away from my horse unless you're in canter, and the horse is having to go really forward. But when we're talking about just trotting around and just trying to see when they're using their back or they're giving and you can see their ear, I walk with them a lot. I keep my body at the horse's hip, and I'm not close, but I'm walking a fairly big circle, so I'm driving the horse on the lunge line rather than standing in one place, and you end up pulling their head around, and they end up spinning their haunches to the outside. I really work at making sure they're coming under from behind and not on a centrifuge machine. You can walk along with them a little bit, so that's just something that I personally do. I don't think everybody prescribes to that, but that's what I always do, and I find it quite helpful.
Well, and I think you're right. Just not anything you can do to not let them spin around in a 10-meter circle. I mean, that's a bad idea for any horse. You'll talk to any veterinarian, and again, that's not productive. And I think that that's what's so good about this topic is we're talking about lunging that actually does something. Not, you'll go to a hunter show, and I don't mean to pick on the hunters, but they send their grooms out, and those horses are running around for an hour until they can't move. And that's really not what we're talking about. We're talking about building muscle, getting, helping it throughness. Maybe, I think it's always good to see your horses on a lunge line and just see how they're moving. You can really tell a lot when you just kind of get off their back and you just see them go. And I think that that's really helpful. So, there's techniques and there's lots of methods to lunging. I mean, you talk to probably 10 different trainers, you'll get 10 different answers. But definitely things along the lines of there's lots of material out there to teach you how to lunge and what are some productive ways to lunge. So I think it's a really important topic.
Yeah, I really like that point about, normally when we're lunging, it's not in a lunging pen that's just one circle. You can use the arena, move up and down the arena, back and forth, use the space. Sometimes like you said, you go with the horse. I mean, when I like to do a little bit of lengthening trot on, on the lunge line. I'm going to be moving down the arena with the horse so that he has space to move and use his body. And so that you don't have to stand there and spin the horse around and around. And, it also ruins your footing too. So, move yourself up and down. Yeah, move yourself up and down up and down the ring if you have space to do that, because that's helpful and teaches the horse how to move in the ring and because horses that I notice this a lot when horses that we start and we they always start on the lunge line. I mean, that's I think 80% of people who back horses are teaching them on the lunge line first. But it's really difficult when the horse learns only to make a circle, and whether it's 20 meters or 15 meters or whatever space you're using, when you get on them and you want them to go straight, they're almost like, hey, what? Because they just go around and around and around all the time. That's why, you can free lunge a little bit sometimes. We talked to Scott Hassler about this in the Young Horse Trainers Symposium, stuff like this. You don't have to lunge on one circle in the middle of the ring all the time. Move yourself around, move the horse around, teach him some straight lines, and some free lunging can also be, good in side reins. The horse learns to use himself on straight lines, and there's different ways to do it. There's different ideas. It's not just one way. This is how you lunge, and you can get creative a little bit, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, super. So, Tammy, what about, do you do any lunging with the riders on?
I think that's a great thing to do, but most of the horses I have and the riders that I don't think that they would. I have not done that as much, but I think that's very helpful. I mean, I don't want to say that's not something to do at all, but most of the people I have are past that. But I think we could all use a little bit of it. I probably could myself, honestly.
Yeah, I know I can, especially right now. I'm so stiff. My muscles are so stiff from it being cold. I mean, I think, and again, lunging the rider is another topic for another day for sure. But, we do it. We probably don't do it enough either. When I lived in Germany, It was every day for a year. I rode a horse on the lunge line. Yeah, that was uncomfortable. It's good, but it is.
But it would be good. It would be good.
Exactly. So good. It's good. So Tammy, any final thoughts for our listeners about productive lunging?
I think that's just, I think once again, it's what I'm trying to promote is not to get out there and torture your horse out on the lunge line till you've pounded his legs and he's lost his gait. It's really something that should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be for, such a prolonged period of time. It's just more to set the tone of the ride and set the mood, and you can read your horse better to know when they're ready to work, and it's meant to be something to enhance the horse, not to break the horse down.
I love that. Those are some great final thoughts. I think that's right. Enhance, help you read your horse. I think those are fabulous ideas. Well, Tammy, thanks so much for your time this evening. How can our listeners find you on the internet?
I do have a website that's Tammy Crawford Dressage, and TammyCrawfordDressage.com.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Tammy, for your time, and enjoy that Florida sun. Well, Philip, that was a great show.
I know. I mean, I just, like this. At first, when we started this show, I have to say I was a little bit like, oh, this weather, and that's not. But now that we're kind of wrapping it up and talking to, about the GDFNA and with training, every week this gives me a little bit inspiration to get out and ride and have fun with horses. And I like talking to you, and it's great.
I know, me too. I feel the same way about the show, and I hope our listeners do as well. So please don't forget our emails and our Facebook shout outs. We love having listener questions. We have a listener question in the bank, I think from Vera, and Vera, we're going to get the
Vera's. We're going to get the Vera's topic soon. I know.
Yeah.
It always seems like we kind of run out of time every week. We want to get to this. We want to get to that.
Exactly. We promise, Vera, we will get to your listener question. It was a really good topic, actually, so we need a little bit of time to cover it. So it was when is it time to move on to the next horse? So great topic.
Yeah, and it's kind of next horse, next trainer,
Yeah, just when do you move up? So we promise we will get to that in the next week or two. And Philip, I'm excited. 1 week to go. We'll do a show. Well, before that, actually, we will record it earlier, and then we'll have the week after. We'll have lots to talk about. So looking forward. It's a really great month. So looking forward to it.
Sounds great, Reese. I guess you can find our show notes and links to today's guest on the website at dressageradio.com. You can like us on Facebook. Just search for Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio.
My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
You can find me at philipparksequestrian.com, and my email is philip@horseradionetwork.com. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for allowing us to put on a great show. And don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Everybody, keep your heels down and your shoulders back, and we will talk to you next week.